Yo, what the heck is up, guys? It's your boy G Wiz,
It's your boy T.Boogie.
and today we're here to bring you the Week 16 NFL slate analysis. And then we're gonna go ahead and give you some Week 17 picks. It is Saturday, the 31st of December, man. Happy New Year, Boogie. Welcome to the show, man.
Happy New Year, buddy. Hey, same to you.
Thanks,
Happy New
bro.
Year. You got any resolutions for your new year? You got any energy you're putting out in the world?
Yeah, I think 2160 by 1080.
I like that. I like that a lot. Last night I got real drunk and I jumped on my bed and broke the frame. So
Wow.
I think my New Year's resolution is lose weight if you big. That's me. Oh, that was a good swallow, by the way.
Thank you, man.
Nice.
I think I need to also lose some weight, man. I'm not necessarily big, I guess, by
Mhm.
American standards, but I am chubby. It's time to get rid of this comfortable relationship weight. I'm tired of it. Something I'm afraid of, world, is being obese. It's one of my greatest fears. So, learned a little something about your boy today.
Perfect.
But welcome back, Boogie Man. We had
Yeah.
some crazy shit going on over this Christmas weekend. Um,
Hmm.
of course, I hope you had a great one, man. I hope spending time with the fam was all love, brother.
Yeah, it was groovy.
Nice,
I'm
dude.
glad they're out of my house again, though.
Yeah, no shit. I bet it's really really nice to have your home back, at least for a couple
Hmm.
weeks until you know the girl and I come and crash at your place. But
Hmm.
that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and jump into this bad boy, man. You ready to
Do
ready
it.
to knock it out?
I'm ready, buddy. Let's do
Hell yeah,
this.
dude. Well, starting off with Thursday Night Football, of course, we had Jacksonville at the New York Jets. The Jets playing for their playoff lives, and Jacksonville looking to secure that AFC South title. The Jets were favored by minus 2.5, but Jacksonville absolutely rolled them. Boogie, what was the final in this one?
I mean, the Jets almost didn't make it to 2.5. It was Jaguars 19, Jets 3.
Yeah, how embarrassing. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is looking incredible right now, playing at a very, very high level. And that Jacksonville defense is just looking nastier by the day.
It is.
Not really sure, what Vegas was thinking by favoring the Jets. Boogie, is there anything from this game that you saw that stood out to you?
Just what was funny to me is that no matter what the Jets did, I think no matter if they succeeded or not on offense or defense, the fans at the stadium were booing them mercilessly. The only time I heard cheers was when Strevler came in and performed that option offense and actually showed a spark of life. It didn't result in any points, but it
Mm-hmm.
just makes you wonder if an option offense could function in the NFL, seeing as Jacksonville looked a little messed up by that offense. What do you
Yeah,
think?
absolutely, man. I mean, I would agree with that. I think that really, though, it was too little too late for the Jets, right? They had every opportunity to get into this game, and man, Zach Wilson looked like shit. I think it's time for the Jets to move on from Zach Wilson. Maybe try something else. I think Mike White, even if he's not a Hall of Famer, right, or going to be the studliest of studs in the league, at least he gives you an air of confidence, and it seems like the team believes in him. So it's really what I'm looking for out of the Jets moving forward.
Yeah, Zach Wilson is the worst of both worlds. He takes bad sacks because he's backpedaling, trying to
Mm-hmm.
find a 40-yard gain on absolutely every down and distance, no matter if it's first and 10, second and 1, or third and 32. He's looking for that 40-yard bomb every time, and every single time it's double covered,
Mm-hmm. And I
and he
mean,
still
the,
throws it.
yeah, that shit may have worked at BYU, but that definitely is not going to work in the league, man.
Nope,
Um,
not a bit.
tell you one thing that doesn't work in the league is blind luck, which we saw from the New England Patriots, who are hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati was favored minus 3. Boogie, what was the final in that one?
the final in that one, spoiler alert, Cincinnati did win.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Bengals 22, the Patriots 18, and one of, I think, the first scoreagamis this season. No game has
Really?
ever ended in a 22-18 score until this game on December 24th, 2022.
That's awesome, man. Hell yeah. I think we had another scoreagami earlier in the year. I remember
Hmm.
you saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which game it was. I think it was like the 53 to 54 game from Seattle and Detroit or some shit like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, man. Absolutely, you nailed it. Yeah. Would you like to say anything before I just go crazy here?
I just want to admonish the Cincinnati Bengals real quick. You got a 22-0 lead in the first half. One thing you can't do if you want to continue to be an elite team is you can't choke away leads like that. I know they didn't lose the game, but man,
Could have.
it was looking could have really could have it could have been snatched away at any time. Um, and for teams like the New England Patriots, I mean how unevenly functional they've been on offense. Um, even with their defense performing admirably, you cannot you cannot allow teams like that to climb back into position. Hopefully, this was another little punch in the mouth for Cincinnati, another piece of adversity they'll grow from moving forward.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I think we saw a lot of uncharacteristic things happen in this one, right? Um, First and foremost, a couple bad interceptions by Joe Burrow. Should they be accredited to him? I mean, they will be on the stat line, but if you look at the tape, man, Tyler Boyd just ran a bad route. Joe Burrow put that ball there. Tyler Boyd was not there. Easy pick. The second one, something we don't see often, is Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow miscommunicating, like misreading each other's mind, and Jamar Chase cut up instead of curling down, and so that was the second. That was the pick six that really changed the momentum here. And then you have Jamar Chase fumbling the ball, which
Mm-hmm.
is really awkward. He's only fumbled twice the entire year, one of them being in that game. He's lost both fumbles. But I
Yeah,
mean, when you have a dynamic playmaker like that, like you know, sometimes the ball's just going to get fumbled. And it's not really a big deal ultimately. There are some things that happen that were just nuts, man. Like the pick six, right? Joe Burrow running into, I think it was Travion Williams or something. They both like cracked each other instead of hitting the running back. That was pretty funny.
mm-hmm.
The 3rd and 29, basically Hail Mary, that was deflected. Insanely good pass defense into the arms of Jacoby Myers, who just happened to be standing in the right place at the right time. Like,
Yeah,
so you're thinking that's 14 out of 18 right there, right? And of course, he missed 2 extra points, so that's 12 out of their 18 points. When you look at it like that, man, like, this game wasn't even close, man.
no,
Cincinnati was still moving the ball in the second half. They just,
yeah,
they had those 3 volleys. And that's going to change the tide of the game. And you are absolutely correct, Boogie. Super Bowl caliber teams put teams away in the second half. You got to put them away. You can't allow them to come back. But I think it was a good learning moment.
absolutely.
I think that shit is not going to happen day in and day out. And you're also talking about 15-mile-an-hour winds, and it was like 4 degrees. So throwing the ball to begin with in that kind of weather is asinine at best.
Yeah,
Just very, very impressive. Once again, the defense stepped up. Von Bell coming in and peanut punching that ball right out of, who was that? Ramondre Stevenson, I believe, that had the big fumble.
yes,
You
another
know,
huge fumble after his folly last week.
yeah, and, had you just stopped turning your legs, they probably would have blown that dead.
Mm.
But because your knees were high and you were trying to run, got stood up and got punched, man. Like, it's going to happen. Could have made a goal line stand and forced the field goal, but they were in a score only kind of situation.
Yeah,
All in all, just a really odd game out of, all the games this weekend. That one was just very, very odd to me. Cincinnati come
big
out with a win, man. Sorry, go ahead.
big It's good. Big shout outs to Marcus Jones for getting that pick six and also getting for uh, quarterback an insane 14 combined tackles as well. He really showed out, and good for him. I believe he's a rookie this year,
Hmm.
so I mean, well done, well done trying to get your team back in it. Good thing the Cincinnati Bengals are better than your team.
Yeah, right, man. Talking about teams that are better than the other team, we had Buffalo, who was at Chicago. Buffalo was favored -8. Boogie was the final of that one.
Absolute handling. Buffalo Bills beat the Chicago Bears 35-13.
Okay, yeah. So, at least from what I saw of this game, obviously I was watching the Cincinnati game, but
Hmm.
what's cool is I had access to watch all these other games. I mean, Chicago was up big time. I think like 10-3 at one point.
Yeah.
It looked like Buffalo was just choking very, very hard. But once again, Josh Allen being a playmaker, they said, Josh, win this game. And he
Mhm.
did that. Um, Not a lot of effective throwing, but I mean, you got to, right? You can't just run all the time. That
Mhm.
two-headed monster and Singletary and Cook looked pretty darn good in Chicago over there at Soldier Field. So I mean,
Absolutely.
Buffalo really got away with a win here. It could have easily gone the other direction. Boogie, what did you see from this one?
Um, you know, like you said, very effective running from the Buffalo Bills. On the opposite side, um, it's it beggars the question: when are the Chicago Bears going to build a functional offense around Justin Fields? Because how they functioned so far this season is they've run the ball on first down, they've run the ball on second down. They say Justin save us on third.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Bradshaw was able to make a career out of run, and it's third and 11, and he has to make a play. But he also his counting stats are pretty poor because of that, and it's only because Steelers had a monumentally good defense that he was able to get as many Super Bowl rings as he did. The Chicago Bears have none of that. What they have to do is they have to build a creative and interesting offense around Justin Fields, taking into account his ability to run,
Run.
taking
Yeah.
taking into account his his throwing ability.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just you can't get a good sense of what kind of quarterback Justin Fields can be in this league if you continue to put him in bad situations every time you ask him to throw the ball.
Yeah, man. I mean, really, the only effective receiver that he has would be Cole Kmet, right? His tight end. Very
That is
common for young quarterbacks in the league to rely on a tight end or like a security blanket, if you will. I mean, the
mm,
connection's good, man. They're making big plays. It's just, I think you nailed it though, T. The offense is, it's in its first year, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is this,
yeah, I think Eberflus just got hired. He's a
correct?
defensive-minded coach. He needs to get
Yeah,
himself
so
a.
they just need to look at some tape, man. And if Justin Fields is going to run for a buck 19 or more, just himself, like, there needs to be some sort of passing scheme that, it's the same thing I say with Tennessee, right? When you have a good run game, you need a quarterback who is mobile because that then creates like a second level. Like you have to commit and you have to pick your poison, right? When you talk about a lot of the great teams here, it's a lot of pick your poison, you know? Whether it's Cincinnati, it's like, yo, you want Jamar Chase, T. Higgins? Like, good luck. You got to double one. If you double both, Boyd, Mixon, Hurst, like that's insane. Um, Same with Kansas City. You want Kelsey, or do you want McKinnon? You know. Same with
Mhm.
San Francisco. You want McCafferty, Ayuk, like Kittle. Who are you gonna stop? So a lot of these elite teams in the league have that multifaceted focus when you talk about a defensive scheme. But Chicago does not have that. They literally have one guy, Justin Fields. You stop him, maybe.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't
Like
know,
you
man.
said, the best offenses have multiplicity, and the best offenses have layups built into the system so that your quarterback can get into rhythm and
Mhm.
get your game plan going. So,
Exactly,
and
man.
right now, the Chicago Bears have neither.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about another team that doesn't really have a game plan? Let's talk about these Cleveland Browns who hosted the New Orleans Saints. Looks like Cleveland was favored -2.5. What's the final in this one, Bug?
Final was the New Orleans Saints 17, the Cleveland Browns 10.
Yeah, man. Cleveland just looked awful. I think Nick Chubb had 70 on the ground, maybe 80. Um,
A
Deshaun
very
Watson,
inefficient 24 for 96, or 92, excuse me.
oh, 92. Wow. I mean, that's still more than what it looked like, just watching the game. Like, shit, dude. New Orleans was pretty much having their way. Andy Dalton, of course, Chris Olave, really just solidifying that connection. It'll be interesting to see what happens with New Orleans moving forward in regards to their quarterback position. However, Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, I mean, ooh, yikes. Against a very stout front four. Just didn't look like they knew what they wanted to do, or like how they wanted to do it. I mean, I guess is the best way to put it, for lack of me just going on an ADD ramble. I mean, what did you see from this game, Bub?
I mean, it is wild to me that, it was blistering cold out. It was like the third coldest game in Cleveland Browns history.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cleveland Browns, who have, Kevin Stefanski has predicated his career on being a very creative running coach, and he has one of the best, if not the best, running back room in the league. Um, New Orleans, and who usually plays in a dome in the South, absolutely handled them on the running game. Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill had 40 yards, plus 40 yards over expected in the rushing game. Um, like you said, Nick Chubb wasn't functional. Deshaun Watson wasn't functional either,
No, I
and
mean, at least Chubb got his.
yeah, I mean it's just Kamara tied Marquise Colston for most touchdowns in Saints history. He
Oh,
was
wow,
absolutely
cool.
yeah, with 72.
So,
It just
wow.
doesn't feel like that long ago that Kamara came into the league, but
No.
it's been a few years, and
Mm-hmm.
he's really making his mark, and he really made this mark on this game as well. It was essential to this win, and it's strange to me that Cleveland couldn't get this done in their home turf, in their home temperature, and with their biggest strength ostensibly ready to be displayed. Um, there's also interesting rumors going around that New Orleans might rehire Sean Payton as a head coach, and they might try to get Tom Brady next year as a quarterback to ride
No,
off in the sunset with.
I don't think
Uh,
that's gonna happen. I'll make my comments about that once we finish up, or I guess like moving forward. Um, Maybe when
yeah,
we
go
get
for it.
down to some rumors that I've heard.
Oh, okay. I like that. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's wild that this happened this way, that this shook out this way. This may be just one of those any given Sunday things, but the Browns have really, I don't know, they're working their hardest to stay in the basement of the AFC North this season.
yeah, man. I mean, and with Pittsburgh surging awkwardly at, at best, right? But like with them surging, there's not really a lot you can do as the Cleveland Browns. Like, hopefully with some training camp, they'll look like a much better team next year. I mean, of course, Deshaun Watson is going to play well. Just seems like an inevitability at this point. Just
Hmm.
seems like he hadn't played in the cold in 2 years, and it really showed, right?
Yep.
Um, New Orleans, led by Andy Dalton, again, an ex AFC Norther, very familiar with the cold. It like always strikes me as confusing when a dome team beats a natural weather team, especially on their home turf.
Yeah.
And we saw that as well with Houston at Tennessee, where Tennessee was favored -3. But Boogie, what
Hmm.
was the final of that one?
Looks like it was Houston 19, Tennessee 14.
Yeah, man. And how embarrassing for Tennessee, right? Like continuing to slide, just sliding. Like they're covered in oil, got tossed into the front yard on a bunch of garbage bags. They're just sliding
Mm.
around out there. And I don't know, like, who's. I don't know what Vrabel's doing. Like Malik Willis didn't look great, but he didn't look
Hmm.
terrible. I think that Tennessee needs Malik to develop. I feel like it will allow their offense to take that next step. You can't just run Traylon Burks on an out and around fucking pitch play or wide receiver sweep and expect it to work if you don't have Malik running for 70 yards. That'll allow Derrick Henry to run for more than 100. It's just
Hmm.
all in all, just a very embarrassing performance by Tennessee. And I think Jacksonville deserves the South. If Tennessee's going to play like this in a Vrabel-led defense, man, that just confuses the shit out of me. But, well, regardless, Houston really wanted this one, and they fucking got it. Boogie,
Yeah.
were some things you saw from this game that really stood out to you?
I honestly I didn't see too much. The fact that Davis Mills was able to grab the win in this game when he threw for 178 yards is kind of embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
The only interesting thing I was able to dig up about this game is that due to rolling blackouts in the stadium, they had
Yeah.
to start this game about an hour later. And
Mm-hmm.
apparently, the coach for Houston, Lovie Smith, took a nap in that hour, which
Good for him.
just I think that is to me that's the most you've just got you got no shake in your hand, just the most zen cool thing you can do is right before a football game you're like, oh, it's gonna be delayed, just take a nap, let's chill out, and I'll just get up and then coach an NFL football team,
Yeah, right.
right out of my fucking nap. When I take a nap, I wake up, it's 4 hours later,
I'm
I'm fucking
confused.
sweating.
Yeah, right.
There's a weird crinkle pattern on the side of my face from the couch pillow I was laying on, and
Yeah.
everything is upside down and sideways, and this guy just rolled out of bed after an hour, was like, okay, I'm ready to win a game.
Yeah, man. And I mean, maybe in our late 50s, we'll be able to take hour naps and feel perfect, but not at 31. That's
All
for
right
sure.
now, no sir.
Um, Tell you a team that should have won by 31 was probably Kansas City, who was hosting the Seattle Seahawks. Kansas City was favored -10. I think they won by at least 14. Boogie, what was the final of this one?
Indeed, they did. The Kansas City Chiefs won 24 to the Seattle Seahawks 10.
Yeah, and we should have trusted KC to win, but again, really hoping. I think this was more emotion than brain. I think we even talked about that. Just hoping that the Chiefs can get knocked off, because if they can just lose one game, that's all we need. Denver. We just need one game. Um, you know, we'll see. See what happens there.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Kansas City rolling, man. Not really an incredible game from Pat Mahomes. Just a
Yeah.
little over 200 yards throwing, but a lot of dinking and dunking, man.
Hmm.
But got the dub. Is there anything
Yeah.
that you saw from this game that really stood out to you, bud?
Let's see. KC's defense is really responded to their issues over the last several games. There were 7 defenders on the KC side with at least one run stuff, so a run stop at or behind the line of scrimmage, as well as Frank Clark and other defenders getting a lot of pressure and a lot of sacks on Geno Smith this game. Um, has Steve Spagnuolo figured out, or has he blocked into his playoff defense, or is this just a 1 week anomaly? Will KC continue to go into the playoffs with one of the worst defenses by DVOA? It remains to be seen, but I think Garth is of the opinion that this is an anomaly. This is a flash in the pan, and they'll be back to their usual kind of crappy ways coming up this next week. And I'm inclined to agree. I don't think Steve Spagnuolo's defense is um, as functional as it was, 10 years ago when the New York Giants won the Super Bowl. There's just, there's too many ways to get around a blitz-heavy defense,
Mm-hmm.
especially since the Chiefs don't necessarily have the personnel that they would use for that a few years ago when they were absolutely dominant with it.
Yeah, I think one thing we should really be worried about if I'm the Chiefs is if I'm the 2 seed and I'm hosting the 7, it's going to be the team who's the hottest, who wants it the most. It's not really a team I'm trying to see. It could be the Chargers, could be the Dolphins, but I mean, come on. Like, I don't know if Tua gets a concussion every time he throws the ball, I guess. It's going to be an issue, right?
Yeah.
So, Kansas City needs to figure it out. I mean, I'm sure they will, but playoff Kansas City is much different from regular season Kansas City. The same with all these teams, right? Much different teams when it's actually down to the nitty gritty. A team that was a lot different this weekend was Minnesota, who was hosting the New York Giants. Minnesota was favored -4. What was the final in this one, Boog?
The final in this one was the Minnesota Vikings 27, the New York Giants 24.
Yeah, so I mean, we picked a great game here, man. Generally, could have really gone either way. What are we talking about? Is it a field goal that won this one? Is it a walk-off again? In back-to-back
61-yard field goal. 61.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yo, that's crazy, cuz. Yeah, 61-yard field goal. Couldn't have seen it coming. Good for Minnesota to keep rolling, man, but still feel like they're a first-round bounce in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just depending on who they play, like if they play Dallas, I think they're fucked.
It's looking very likely that this game was a playoff preview because these two teams will likely hit each other again in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, the
And
NFC.
if the Giants, who have been somewhat uneven over the past several weeks, are able to edge a win against them this time, I mean it would make a lot of sense given that Minnesota is still probably the fakest winning team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, no doubt. But I mean, let's give props to Justin Jefferson having an incredible year. 209 yards away from breaking that record. All-time receiving yards in a season.
He has the single season receiving yards record for the Minnesota Vikings already. He's beat out Randy Moss already.
Good for him, man. I mean, he deserves it. Giants, I don't really know what you're doing, man. But I guess we'll see.
It's one of those things that Minnesota is not going to always be able to pull a 61-yard field goal out of their ass. So if this goes to overtime, this obviously this may be a very different result.
Yeah, no doubt,
on
man.
the luck and a team that's nearly 500 should not be taking on a way over 500 team like the Vikings. They should not be taking them fire.
Yeah, no, I agree. You want to talk about a couple teams that are barely 500, if not both under. We got Detroit, who visited Carolina this weekend. Detroit was favored -2.5. I thought Detroit was really on a roll here, but Carolina, fucking rolled them, dude. What was the final in this one, Bug?
That is the Carolina Panthers 37, Detroit Lions 23.
And it wasn't even that close. There must have been a garbage time touchdown because Carolina ran for 320 yards on Detroit's defense. That is fucked up. Detroit, you trying to make that wild card push, and I mean, I guess Carolina's trying to win the division, so which is also just absolutely ridiculous to even be talking about. But they just really, wow, man, just absolutely ran all over the Detroit Lions. Boog, what did you see from this game? What really stood out to you?
I mean, like you said, they ran all over them. It is wild to me that Carolina is more functional at rushing the ball after Christian McCaffrey has left. They're sitting there with 320 total yards rushing by the end of this game. Lions just look like they're back to their old ways, giving up 34 points a game, like they did back, a few weeks ago. It's tough to stumble like this when you're trying to make a playoff push. before the fourth quarter of this game, the score was 31-13. So this was not particularly close, like you said. It was garbage time that made it look closer than it actually is. You know, this is to be expected for Detroit. They're still a rebuilding team, a team that's trying to do a restoration of their of competitiveness. But to give it up like this against the Carolina Panthers, who again their quarterback room has been a mess. Their only high point has been their rushing attack. Um, you have to you just have to you have to stop the rush when you know it's the most functional part of the team, and Detroit did the exact opposite.
Yeah, right. They were like, oh, we'll give up the run.
Yep.
Just to stop the pass against a team
Yeah,
that is not effective at passing.
we'll stop Sam Darnold. We'll really focus on that.
Rolls eyes in Portuguese. Yeah, man.
uh,
It's just an awful game by Detroit. It stinks because I really like what you guys are doing up there. I wish you the best moving forward, but we'll talk about that. Furthermore, a team I hope does well, at least with Desmond Ritter. A little bit of city bias. The Atlanta Falcons, who were at the Baltimore Ravens this weekend, or I guess on Christmas Eve, pardon me. The Baltimore Ravens were favored -6.5. Boogie, what was the final on that one?
Well, they snagged that -6.5, but not by much. The final score was the Baltimore Ravens 17, the Atlanta Falcons 9.
Man, that's just unfortunate. I really thought that, Atlanta had the opportunity to beat Baltimore, especially given all of their injuries and their woes. But I think we just, outside of the alligator doing damage, really didn't see much from this Atlanta team. Boogie, what did you see from this one that really stood out to you?
I didn't see a whole lot. The Baltimore Ravens, Gus Edwards got 52 rushing yards over expected, which constitutes more than half of his rushing yard total for this game. So he really hustled out there for his yards. So good for him. Desmond Ritter is showing flashes that he can be a functional quarterback in the NFL, but it's too little, too late for the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, I think their playoff hopes, or even getting close to the playoffs, are all but dashed at this point. You just hope that with a little bit more seasoning, maybe Desmond Ritter can be a much more functional quarterback next year. He'll be able to buy himself some time in the league. But Atlanta is heading for probably a top 10 pick, and who knows if in this quarterback class coming up if they'll find their man next year. But all luck to them. Lamar Jackson, I think he's still out for the next game, so there's if the Steelers can play spoiler a little bit,
Please,
we'll be able to lock up that AFC North spot, and have the Week 18 game not be so fucking essential, because to me it's a toss up whether we're gonna win this Buffalo game or not.
no, and that's honest. I would agree with that.
And I would rather not see another win-loss split, and then have this Week 18 game be when Lamar comes back be so essential to us making the playoffs. I'd rather just lock it up this coming week.
It's at Cincinnati, so I don't know. And Lamar coming off a knee injury, like, I don't know, man. Just
yeah, that is tough.
Plays well in our favor, I'd say. A team that is absolutely just fucking rolling right now. The San Francisco 49ers hosting the Washington Commanders. Boy, they got rolled. Boogie, what was the final of this one?
San Francisco scored 37 points to Washington's 20.
Yeah, and I don't even think it was that close, dude. San Francisco, wow. Brock Purdy putting on a show out there. Christian McCaffrey just having his way. George Kittle doing absolutely whatever the fuck he wants. It'll be interesting to see when Debo comes back. Did Ayuk play in this one? I'm unfamiliar.
I'm unfamiliar as well. I didn't get to see this one, unfortunately.
I know, I think Debo is still injured, but look, man, whatever. We're just two bros talking about stuff. We're not on ESPN or anything. I don't need to have all these stats at my fingertips. Dude, San Francisco just looks like a house right now. And if the big bad wolf wants to blow them down, they're going to have to learn how to blow bricks because this front nine for San Francisco is just so heavy, man. Um, they're really getting it done in all facets of the defense, and it's absolutely incredible to watch Shanahan, be able to put this rookie into a system, and you're talking like, what, three-fourths of the way through the year, and still have this kind of success. Speaks highly to the caliber of coaching staff that San Francisco has right now, and I think they're my favorite thus far in the NFC to really make that big push late in the year. Boogie, what did you see from this game that really stood out to you?
So the last pick in the draft is usually called Mr. Irrelevant because how their careers end up is usually at most they'll play, one game, have one catch for 14 yards, and then end up on a CFL practice squad somewhere. But Brock Purdy is, changing everything for Mr. Irrelevance all over the world today. Um, Probably setting all sorts of records for a QB picked in the last pick of the draft. Um, just props to the dude for props to the young man for getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
For taking for seizing his chance and hopefully securing himself a long career as a backup in the NFL. Um, you know, this we may be looking at the start of a Harbaugh story where this lightly regarded quarterback comes up from nowhere, has one good season, sticks around as a backup, and then suddenly he's a prodigy coach here in a few years. Maybe like what is that guy's name? Kellen Moore, maybe that kind of
Mond?
situation. And
Kellen Mond? No, no, no.
no, Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh,
A
heard.
similar
Heard,
career
heard,
path
heard.
for him. But I really just don't understand why Washington can't figure out their quarterback situation. Along with Denver and Indianapolis, they're one of these teams that's built a good to great roster, but they cannot seem to settle on a quarterback every time they seem to have their situation locked down. Quarterback gets benched, or we try out fucking Big Dick Nick in fucking week 16, or
Mm-hmm.
just completely non-functional in the quarterback room, and it really sinks these otherwise stacked teams. Um, I hope for their sake they can figure it out, or they can lure somebody to, come play for them. But given the situation with the owner, given the toxicity of the front office, and given the field conditions that you would have to play, 8 or 9 home games on, I really just don't see that as a popular destination for any quarterbacks. Although you might see Derek Carr there next year, given how things have turned out in that situation. I imagine we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Something we definitely need to talk about later is the Dallas Cowboys, who hosted the Philadelphia Eagles and almost
Mm-hmm.
fucking lost to a backup. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about Dallas a lot when it comes playoff time, but really, oh boy, what was the final in this one, Boogie?
Final in this one, what a squeaker. It was the Dallas Cowboys 40, the Eagles 34.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the Eagles had some bad turnovers, and that's really what led to Dallas winning. It just, this game looks so weird. I'm gonna keep it real. By this point, I was pretty drunk, and I fell asleep on the couch watching this one. Philadelphia was up, and I was like, here we go. Dallas is gonna blow another one. I wake up, and it's like 34 or something. Um, Wild, man. I just don't
Yeah.
even know.
Taking field goals to go up 6 is such a weird decision to me on Dallas's part. If Gardner's able to pull off a last minute, touchdown, it's
Yeah,
you chances slip away instead of just going for it.
yeah,
Um,
and it looked like he had AJ Brown in the back of the end zone.
hmm
Um, you know, Obviously the angle makes that ball look a lot closer to him than it was. But I mean, if he would have just reached his
Sure.
hands out, it looked like he could have caught that.
Could have snatched it.
I,
Um, you know
I,
what this
I don't
game
know.
what this game really showed me uh, is that Howie Roseman's one of the best GMs in the league. He secured himself a pretty damn good backup, a guy who could be, a starter on maybe the bottom 4 or 6 teams in the league, and almost snatched a win from a Dallas team that looks functional, looks kind of good to go, looks about like a fifth seed in the NFC. But it really shows that this team is complete and is ready to, when Jalen Hurts returns from his shoulder injury, is ready to take it to the rest of the league. The fact that they were able to score 34 with a backup quarterback, to me, is extremely impressive. Especially with Micah Parsons out there. It is distressing that Lane Johnson is injured due to having to go against Micah Parsons that often, because over the last several years that Philadelphia has had Lane Johnson, they have, I think it's something like an 85-50 record with him on, and their record without him is something like 7-15 or something like that. Like he's instrumental to that offensive line functioning. So we'll see how they recover from that in the coming weeks.
Sure, absolutely, man. Speaking of a team that's recovering, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who hosted the Las Vegas Raiders in Derek Carr's potentially last game.
They're locking him out the building.
In the league? No, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's his last game in the league, but I'll tell you this, dude. He did not look good, man. And if I were the coaching staff, I'd be upset with him, too. Whoa. Sorry, pardon me. Got some gas there. I'm trying to get the sun out of my eyes. Pardon me, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll just lean over here. Yeah, dude, like, what the fuck is going on there in Las Vegas, man? You lose Henry Ruggs to a aggravated murder charge. Like your stud receiver, you lose your head coach. Derek Carr, a leader in the building, said that they didn't want him to be a distraction, and that they mutually agreed for him to step away. Like, that's just fucking weird.
So they could get Jarrett Stidham a fucking chance? Why?
No, I think because if anything happens to Derek Carr in these last 2 weeks, he's guaranteed $40 million. Okay? If nothing happens to him and he just sits his ass at home, he's only a $5 million cap hit, which plays right into my prediction that Lamar Jackson would be going to the Raiders, but that's neither here nor there. Everybody's saying that, oh no, Devontae Adams went there just to play with Derek Carr, which he did. That is 100% true.
Sure, but
however,
it's also because the Raiders made apparently, I guess, the best offer to Green Bay for him. So, I mean,
yeah, but it's also a business, right? And as a business, you've had 9 years with Derek Carr. You've really gotten nothing done.
Yeah, you kind of run it in place.
Yeah, the Raiders will exist after Derek Carr, and they were the Raiders before him. So, like, yes, it is sad that we're seeing the franchise's face, make his leave. But this just sets up a situation that I alluded to earlier. You spoke about, Sean Payton and wanting Tom Brady in New Orleans. I mean, I think that Tom Brady might also go down to Las Vegas and play with Josh McDaniels as OC when they won all those Super Bowls with the Patriots. McDaniels obviously wants a quarterback that can run his offense. Is not happy with Derek Carr not checking the ball down and making the easy throws and always holding on and trying to do too much, like will his team to victory. And while that is admirable and the mark of Derek Carr, that shit just probably, new management, new head coach, just like, yo, fuck that shit, bro. Get out of here. Like, go home. We're gonna cut you, obviously. Like, it's inevitable at this point. And what an embarrassing game against Pittsburgh Steelers, where the Steelers ended up winning this one. What was it, like 13-10, Boogie?
That's correct. 13-10.
Yeah, man. Like, come on, bro. All in all, just bad decision making this entire year. When you have the best running game in the league, and you still lose this many games because your pass game just ain't it. Devontae Adams, sure, putting up Studley numbers, but come on, man. You can't be doing this shit, in a men's league, especially at the end of the year when you should have all of your kinks worked out, regardless of powerhouse teams. But this was just the immaculate reception game and everything. Like, God, man. What a bad way to go out, man. But thank you, Derek Carr, for being a Raider for 9 years, man. Hope you get a starting job somewhere else. Watch him go to Indianapolis, who loves to take on bad quarterbacks.
I mean, he's required by law to either go to Indianapolis as, the home for washed-up quarterbacks, or to Arizona as the retirement home of the NFL. Does Derek Carr like golf? If so, he'll enjoy Arizona.
Why would he go to Arizona? They have Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Are they going to trade?
Oh, man.
I don't know, man.
Can you imagine? Why?
Just exactly.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Whatever, man. That game was awful to watch anyway. Glad I didn't get to see it. It was only on NFL Network. 13-10. Oh, Boogie, I feel so rude. Is there anything you saw from this game that really?
No. Now that you've brought up Kyler Murray, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if Kyler Murray is, as dissatisfied with Arizona as he probably should be, and to be fair, Arizona should be disappointed with him, will he try to force his way out? And would that be a a potential trade? Arizona gets Derek Carr and some stuff, and the Raiders get Kyler Murray, and they think they've basically cheated their way into being a playoff team again, only for it to all blow up again next year.
It's not McDaniel's offense. I just think that's
interesting.
Mobile quarterback is not McDaniel's offense, which is why Lamar doesn't make sense. However,
it's tough because it's like you have a guy who's not as good as Lamar at running the ball, but he's very good at running the ball, and he can throw absolute piss missiles and throw balls into positions that other people just can't get to. If you're an offensive coordinator and a head coach and you can't make use of that guy and sculpt an offense around him, I don't know what to tell you. You probably shouldn't be coaching in this league.
It's honest. I can't disagree with that. I mean, it is the way the league is trending towards like mobile quarterbacks that are, flying through the air and on the ground, with the exception of a few. Damn, the sun is bright. It's just very awkward, man. Very awkward situation going on in Vegas, but we'll talk about that more as we do our year in review recap video that I'm just now springing on Tyler without any context. So we'll go ahead and get that done. Probably talk about that.
I also want to say this.
What's up, bud?
The Chicago Bears are currently in the number 2 spot in the draft order. And just looking at this strength of schedule, it is wild to me that we think the Chicago Bears are this bad when they have the strongest opponents of any team in the league right now. Because,
really?
So the Chicago Bears are, of course they are bad. And they're not working to their strength so much. But they also have, their strength of schedule is 568. Which indicates, you have a lot more winning teams than losing teams.
Yeah.
Just for context,
I mean, the highest is 620 something, isn't it, or something? Every year.
No, that's maybe, but I mean, at least this year so far, they have the highest at 568.
Wow. Well, I guess okay. Sorry, I'm thinking preseason, looking at the strength of schedule. But I guess given how things have worked out, that makes sense.
Yeah. And, for context right now, Philadelphia's strength of schedule of their opponents is 477. So they've had some help along the way to get them to the position that they're at. I mean, and, Kansas City is rocking with a 453. So they've had some help along the way. Cincinnati's sitting at a 525. So they're, it feels like their record's a little bit more honest. But anyhow, just a little sideline before we get to the Christmas games.
Oh, absolutely, man. Well, thank you, Boogie. We had a lot of gifts given this past Christmas. This past Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Yeah, but look, we had a lot of gifts being given, especially by the
Mhm.
Miami Dolphins to the Green Bay Packers, by Denver to the Rams, making Baker Mayfield look like a fucking absolute stud, and by Arizona to Tampa Bay, who just couldn't hold it out.
Yeah.
There is a lot to be said for these Christmas games in regards to playoff implications and big storylines. Let's go ahead and start with the Green Bay Packers, who were at the Miami Dolphins. Miami was favored -4. Miami should have fucking rolled Green Bay. Like, no reason why Green Bay should be winning games right now. But of
Mm.
course, Tua throwing 3 consecutive interceptions in the second half and then having a concussion.
That symptoms only showed up on Monday.
Yeah, even though uh, look, dude, this guy's brain's obviously um,
Fried egg, dude.
not well right now. Um,
No.
Green Bay won this one. Boogie, what was the final before I get into my personal opinion on this?
Green Bay 126 to the Dolphins 20.
Yeah, man. Dolphins, yo, me and you, just real quick. What the fuck are you doing, man? What are you doing, dude? Teddy Two Gloves could lead this offense. If Tua's not feeling up to it, get him out of there. He's already had 3 severe concussions, like, already this year. Like, I just don't get it, man. That's the most egregious amount of head injury that I've ever seen out of an organization in one, like, football season. It just seems
Mhm.
like ridiculous. Like, obviously, RG3 with the bad knee playing, that was also a terrible decision, by Washington in the past. But I'm talking like head injuries. You've never even heard of this. You've never heard of a guy getting fucking 3 major concussions in one season, and to throw those 3 interceptions, and then, like, as a head coach, be like, huh, those were just like awful throws. It wasn't even like he was making a play. Like, in the first half, he was throwing dimes. I mean, fucking Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill both had almost 100 yards before halftime, and then all of a
Yep.
sudden it just got weird. Like, something's up, man. Let Teddy Two Gloves take the helm. You obviously signed him for this reason because you were not confident in Tua. Let Tua sit out the rest of the season, man, and maybe, like, Tua, like, get your head straight, man. Like, not just chemically, because of all of the hopefully not plaques, amyloid plaques on your brain from these severe concussions, but, like, also, like, think about what you want to do, man. Is this really what you want to do? Is
Mhm.
be just fucking sitting out half the season because you're concussed, and then ultimately, having a lot of problems down the road. I know that's not, what humans like to think about, but oh, it's fucking cool. It's a very real thing that could happen. Sorry, ADD. There's the water is reflecting onto my ceiling, so my ceiling's like looks like water right now. It's like, whoa,
Oh.
I'm having flashbacks, man. But no, it was yeah, man. God, Miami, what the fuck are you doing? Meanwhile, Green Bay, not really playing well at all, but just making enough plays to win. Like, absolutely another.
Banking on the fact that Tua threw 3 interceptions.
I mean, that's really it, right? Because when you look at it, all they did was capitalize off turnovers. Only winning by 6 and winning the turnover margin tells me that, like, you're not really playing at the highest level.
No.
But anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting here. Boogie, what did you take away from this game?
Just really the fact that if your starting quarterback gets concussed so badly that they go into fencer's pose in week 4, um, honestly, for the health of him, those doctors should have shut him down for the year and just
Mm-hmm.
let his brain heal, not let him get shook up for the rest of the year. He
Continually,
needs he needs a new
continually.
helmet. He needs I don't know if he needs a fucking neck roll. I mean, he's a professional football player, and this is his dream to play this game. Um, you are not going to stop him from playing this game if you medically clear him. So just moving forward, you need to make sure he's as protected as he can be. Force him to get a new helmet. that, helps reduce concussions, force him to take whatever, experimental technology is out there to help him avoid these. And, I guess just cross your fingers. But man, like you said, Tua's gotta take some time this offseason when his brain is healed and actually think about if this and the life it will lead to down the road is really what he wants out of his life.
Mm-hmm. And it's sad, man, because he's a good talent.
Yeah.
He may not be the best, right, to ever do it, but I think that his skill set works very, very well in this offense, man. And it just sucks, dude. I'll tell you.
At best, this career will end when he's 40. It'll probably end when he's like 35, and then he has
probably end when he's like 29.
Well, yeah, if he keeps getting injured like this, yes, that's what I'm saying at best. But that's so many years of your life left to live, and if you're having to wear diapers by the time you're 48, is that the kind of life you want to live?
Yeah, honestly, dude. Talking about a life I don't want to live right now is being a Denver Broncos fan who got absolutely fucking steamrolled by a Los Angeles Rams team. 51 to what? 14? 10? Something like that?
14.
51 to 14. Excuse me, Denver. 51 points to Baker Mayfield looking like a goddamn first-round draft pick out here. Like, this third week in the offense? Give me a goddamn break. Obviously, this led to the firing of Nathaniel Hackett. And classic Russell Wilson with his patented, yeah, I just should have played better. Nate's a great guy. He's got a great family. Wish him the best. It's on me. I just should have played better. Yeah, no shit, Russ. And that mild emotional attitude that was coveted by Seattle is not really looking so hot when you're not winning games, right? Just makes you look like you don't give a fuck. And that's probably honestly the case. You don't give a fuck. And you can be the best locker room guy ever. And you can be the best teammate outside of the locker room or, outside of football ever, right? But when you are looking at Team 3, let's worry about what suits we're picking out this year. If you've seen those Instagram videos, it's fucking hilarious. Go look at them. They look absolutely stupid. It's his whole team, Team 3. So, like, he's got his own branding team. And he's, like, on his phone, like, picking out the suits for each game. And, like, nodding yes or, like, everybody nodding no. It's fucking stupid, bro. I'll send you a link.
I don't want to see this. This sounds like cornball behavior.
It is 100% cornball behavior. That worked in Seattle because you were winning games. It does not work. Doing flamboyant shit like that when you are arguably the worst quarterback in the league right now, you can't do that, Russ. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What is the Broncos organization doing that they fired Nathaniel Hackett, a offensive guru?
They don't owe $250 million to Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, dude, but it's his first year, bro. I told you, and I preach this all the time. Cut that shit out with the firing of first year. Like, give him some time to establish a culture, bro. 4 years minimum should be what a coaching contract is. Like, I don't care if they're terrible or not. Like, you got to let them do something, right? And the fact that they hired Nathaniel Hackett, and here's what I think, Tyler. I think that they hired him because they were like, oh, yeah, he's got a great relationship with Aaron Rodgers. We'll get Aaron Rodgers. And then Aaron Rodgers re-signed with Green Bay, and then they were like, oh, fuck. Let's just go get, like, whoever's available, I guess. That, like, honestly is how it feels. Embarrassing, man. We'll see moving forward, but, like, Russell Wilson is so bad. It doesn't really matter if you fire Nathaniel Hackett, and I think Nathaniel Hackett is cleared. It'll be interesting to see if after this week's matchup, all of a sudden, if Green Bay wins and all the things align for them to make another playoff run, if like, oh, Nathaniel Hackett gets hired as a, like not the offensive coordinator, obviously, but maybe like a consultant, kind of like what Bruce Arians does down in Tampa Bay, basically running the team without having to like run the team. Yeah, man, boy, dude, Denver, what the fuck, man?
There's a report out there that the NFL put together for the owners that shows in aggregate and individual teams how much money they're wasting on dead money contracts from firing coaches prematurely. And I wish I could find the report, but it was something to the tune of like $800 million league wide. And like the New York Giants, for instance, are paying no less than 4 different coaches and coaching staffs that they've fired over the past several years. They're still paying out their contracts. Going back to Pat Shurmur and his 4-year
really?
deal or something like that. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, like that far back. Probably Ben McAdoo as well. Like all the people that the New York Giants have hired, they're paying out all of those coaching staffs. Still,
yeah, man,
$800 million wasted because you don't have any patience.
Give them 4 years, man. That's all I'm saying. Give them 4 years. Everybody wanted to fire Zach Taylor after his second year in the league because you had the best quarterback ever and didn't do anything. And now we went to a Super Bowl in year 3, and all of a sudden he's the greatest coach in the league. Like, we need to calm down with all this fucking like hot and cold bullshit. Like, look, man, an NFL team is like the stock market. They're gonna do good. They're gonna do bad. It'll all even out over the course of their tenure as an organization. Fucking silly, man. Tell you what was fucking silly. This game between Tampa Bay and the Arizona Cardinals would just look like just a mess, man. Like, what a terrible game. Tampa Bay squeaking it out in overtime, I believe.
Yeah.
What was the final on this one, bud?
Tampa Bay 19, Cardinals 16.
Yeah, and I think really the only story here is that J.J. Watt played his last home game ever in the NFL. Congratulations, J.J. Watt. First-round Hall of Famer in 2028. Easy. First ballot Hall of Famer. Did awesome, bro. Thank you.
To me, this game just, awesome. Great job, JJ. Thanks for that 3-sack game. You said it will never be as good as this again. I better get out of here. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you bringing the ham to the ham and cheese to Arizona for a few seasons. Thank you very much. This game, the fact that Tampa Bay was barely able to squeak out a win against Trace McSorley and his Arizona Cardinals just shows that there's so many fucking holes still in the Buccaneers game, and the fact that they are likely to make the playoffs unless somebody in the NFC South really pushes them out of that top spot, which is not looking very likely. Carolina, God, least deserved berth. Actually, it's between who has the most least.
This year.
Oh my lord!
This year, wow! Thank you, brain. Obviously, Garth. What a fool! They play each other this weekend.
Yeah,
for I think the number one, like for the AFC South or NFC South. Pardon me.
Yes, they would. Wish I got more on this. Anyway, I mean, Tampa Bay needs to get bounced. Carolina doesn't particularly deserve to go either for how well or badly that they've played.
No, dude, this is just one of those like walk all over.
One of those things. Yeah.
Easy playoff opponent if you get seeded and you get that pool, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of how the NFC East has always been these past 5 years. It's always like, oh, who's going to come out of there? A terrible Dallas team, a terrible Giants team, a terrible Washington team, or a terrible Eagles team. Like,
until suddenly the switch was flipped this year for no reason.
Yeah.
Are we going to look back at this at the end of next year and be like, wow, the NFC East really, there were all of the NFC East was in the playoffs at one point last year. Isn't that crazy? They're back to being bad.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll see. It's a weird league. I'm really enjoying, what the NFL has done these past 3-4 years. It's cool seeing a bunch of teams that aren't good, or I'm sorry, historically aren't good, are making that shift, right? That transition to being, contentious, at least in a playoff run.
Yeah.
Team that's really making a playoff push right now is going to be these LA Chargers, Monday Night Football, who are at Indianapolis. Taking on Big Dick Nick in the boys. Yeah, Los Angeles, squeaked out with the dub here. What was the final in this one, Boogie?
The final in this one was the Los Angeles Chargers 20 and the Colts 3.
Oh, okay, sorry. Squeaked out a win. I guess that was sarcasm. I misread the box score over here. That's totally my bad. I thought it was 13. Wow. Indianapolis looks completely unfunctional. Again, if they decide to go out and get Derek Carr, that'd be a classic move by them. Wouldn't it be weird if they got Lamar Jackson? I don't know, man. I mean, really, he can go anywhere. Like, what do? Do you draft a guy, or do you just continue the beaten path of going and getting quarterbacks that are kind of questionable in their long-term career paths? Didn't work out with Wentz. Kind of worked out with Rivers. Didn't work out with Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. The Chargers
you
are...
can't keep papering over the holes with these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But regardless of Indianapolis being an absolute shit show right now, one thing I do want to recognize is the Chargers will. Okay, the Chargers are making a very, 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 very... Did you say very, Tyler? Yes, very strong push for that 7 seed. If they are not the 6 at this point, pardon me, but they are the 7 as last I checked, and I do not want to play them if I'm a 2 seed, unless I'm Cincinnati or Buffalo. Kansas City, because it isn't a division opponent, like that's scary for Kansas City, just given that their defense is suspect in very high pressure situations. Yeah, Boogie. I mean, is there anything that you took away from this game that really stood out to you?
Just the fact that I was watching this game and I got to watch that rare, gorgeous, juicy happenstance where one team throws an interception, the other team throws it right back, and then the first team throws another interception right back to them. It reminds me of the beginning of like a pickup game of basketball where you're passing the ball back and forth.
Oh, and you're just like, yeah, exactly.
But if you're me and you don't know how that works, you just keep passing it back and forth and back and forth.
Like a Jackie Moon situation, right? Like,
yeah.
Right here.
Right here. Okay, Jackie, there you go.
Okay. All right, back to you. Okay, right back.
Here you go, Jackie.
Oh boy, man, what?
So good, but I'm not. If the Chargers keep doing dumb shit like that, I'm not so scared of them. But you're right, they are the Chargers surging, which I just love. I love the idea of that.
Mm-hmm.
They are surging right now, and they're dangerous. They're a dangerous 7 seed. They're not just a nothing burger. Like I don't know who the 7 seed is in the NFC, but
It's
whoever
okay.
that might be.
The 7 seed is probably
not
on fire. What we're really looking at is the 4 seed, which is going to come out of the NFC South, and that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're going to be
the fact that
hosting a playoff game and probably get rolled. Like that's just.
The fact that the 7th seed in the AFC could probably beat the ass of the 4th seed in the NFC is wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah. Okay, Boogie. Yo, week 16, all wrapped
how'd your
up.
prop go?
Yo, my prop went great.
Prop.
Yeah, dude. So I proposed that 2,000 yards rushing would happen league-wide. In fact, it was like 3,700 yards rushing. So just moving forward, maybe if not next year, we'll go ahead and like look at these and review and be like, yo, we need to set like a floor for that because 2,000 was definitely way too low. I think maybe 3,300 would have been more appropriate. That would have been more of a gamble, just given that, obviously Carolina being that outlier, right, with the 320 yards would have been closer to like maybe 3,500. So
it's tough when there's not like any readily available resource that gives like league-wide.
Exactly.
League-wide averages.
Yeah, that would be cool. Pro Football Focus, if you're watching and need an idea for something to do, like pretty easy, I would think.
Yeah.
But whatever. Absolutely. I'm no programmer.
Hmm.
Boogie, how did your prop go this week?
Oh, my prop went well. It was a cold week for a lot of teams out there. A lot of teams in the northern states this week. So, uh, having to deal with that record wind chill. A lot of games taking place that are like the third or the second coldest ever taking place in those arenas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 10 unders hit this week against 6 overs. So,
Nice,
a
man.
commanding win for unders this week.
Nailed it. Good shit, bro.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that wraps up week 16.
That's
So, yo, thanks for sticking around. If you made it this far, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Boogie's got beautiful hair, and your boy has got pretty blue eyes.
all right.
Also, Boogie,
And I broke the shit out of my bed frame, so
what a
please
good
laugh.
kid, man. Yeah,
Please
what
laugh,
a
please
good
laugh.
kid. All right,
Mm-hmm.
Boogie. Um, shit, you ready to make some picks, man?
Yeah. Sorry. I imagine it was Dallas minus 14, not Tennessee minus 14.
Did I just? Yep. Okay. I definitely did that. I just put minus 14 in there. Good
I
for
love
me.
that.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
Dallas was favored minus 14. In this one, Thursday
Mm-hmm.
night football, Dallas at Tennessee. Dallas really just rolling again. A Tennessee Titans team that is just like who played Joshua Dobbs for some reason. Wow. Um,
Formerly the QB3 for the Pittsburgh Steelers,
and the Cleveland
um,
Browns at some
and
point.
Cleveland Browns. This game was 27-13. Wasn't close ever. I don't think.
But that's minus
My
14, isn't it?
That is, but Dallas would have to win by 15 or more.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Sorry.
So we're good.
Thank you, Brain.
Uh, the only thing I have to say about this is if you're going to play an offense like they used with Dobbs, where it was, there was some running work and there was some layup plays, and you made it really easy on Joshua Dobbs.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not just play Malik in that same offense instead of making him like a glorified running back?
Because Malik
Why didn't?
Willis has not thrown for over 100 yards in any
Yeah.
game that he started. And that is a
Mhm.
big problem in a men's league. I think that's first and foremost. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's the ADD.
Okay.
But that is
Yeah.
the information in that regard. I think.
Sure.
Right.
But if you're spending, the first half of games where you start Malik Willis and you're letting him throw the ball 4 times in that first half, I mean, there's not a lot of opportunity for him to get to 100 yards.
Hmm.
He
Okay.
needs to, again, just like stop using these running quarterbacks so uncreatively and allow, if you have like issues with his accuracy, then, dink it and dunk it. Do shovel passes, do touch passes, tap passes, do something to,
Yeah.
or
Give him
just
some confidence.
do some slants, do something to give him some confidence. Don't ask him to, it's not the right answer to ask him to do 17-yard out routes either, but the right answer is not just using him as a running back. He's not Strevler. He's not a guy who was on a CFL practice squad until you plucked him. He's the guy that you spent a high draft pick on.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
To go and
like
get.
have a little bit more faith in him if you're going to do all that.
Mm-hmm. I
Stupid,
agree, man.
stupid. Otherwise,
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I don't know why they went and got Josh Dobbs. I don't know what Tennessee's thinking. I think they're just looking for anything at this point to save their season, and really, I think they need to turn their visage inward and really look at themselves because shit's embarrassing, man. That they were 7-4 at one point, now they're 7-9. They've lost 5 straight.
yeah. What's this slippage, man? So goofy.
I don't know, bro. It's like fucking Mario Kart and banana peels out here with the Tennessee Titans. They don't know what the fuck they're doing, dude. Um, but I tell you who's coming for them. Jacksonville Jaguars, who are at the Houston Texans. Jacksonville is favored -3. I'm going to take that action all day. Jacksonville is currently on a losing streak. I think 7 straight losses against the Houston Texas. The whole state. The Houston Texans. We're going to go ahead and call this the wouldn't want to buy insurance to own a home there bowl. Houston down in the Gulf, hurricane heavy. Jacksonville always getting the receiving end of whatever hits the East Coast. Yeah, I'm taking Jacksonville all the way, Boogie. You?
Travis Etienne, first 1,000-yard rusher since James Robinson last year, fifth
Nice.
1,000-yard rusher in Jacksonville Jaguars history. Tickets are $19 for this game, rightfully so, but Trevor Lawrence is out here looking dangerous, and this is a game for their playoff life.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine they're going to win this game. It should be Jacksonville minus 3 million, but I'm going to take that action all day.
Yeah, all day, man. Some more action that I'm going to take is Atlanta, who is hosting the Arizona Cardinals, minus 5.5. I'm going to take Atlanta to win here. I'm going to take Arizona to cover because I really don't trust either of these teams. This is Atlanta's game to lose, in my opinion. I think that Colt McCoy is out, but it's not even McSorley that's going to be starting. Who's starting for Arizona this week?
It's going to be McSorley, I do
Really?
believe.
No, I thought it was
look.
somebody else. I thought there was some scuttlebutt that it was somebody else.
Please speak about your what do you like to do on New Year's Eve while I check this out. Looks like Colt McCoy is expected to start at quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals
Wow,
this week.
embarrassing.
He's back from concussion protocol. So Texas legend Colt McCoy. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was 2 days ago. 22 hours ago. David Blau, former
There
backup
it is.
quarterback for the Detroit Lions, is expected to start at quarterback.
Like, what are we doing, man? We're just doing fucking anything. Like, why are we spending money on
Yeah.
on a season that's already lost? Like, what are we doing?
I bet they picked him up for the fucking bet minimum. It's $500,000. What do they give a shit? I mean, Steve Keim isn't there at the fucking controls, so whatever,
Yeah, you're
dude.
right. He took a leave of absence over
Uh-huh.
emotional distress, right? Okay, so
Uh,
anyway, Arizona's going to continue to falter. At least Atlanta has more consistency on the offensive side of the ball. Again, J.J. Watt may have his swan song kind of game and get like 19 sacks. Who the fuck knows? But I'm taking Atlanta to win, Arizona to cover.
David Blau is the 64th starting quarterback for an NFL team this year, which breaks the record of 2007. This is the most starting quarterbacks we've ever had in the NFL.
That's a great stat, Boogie. Thank you for that.
Sure thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up we have the God, dude. These are just some bad matchups, man. We have Chicago at Detroit. Detroit -6. I'll take Detroit. I'll take Chicago to cover because it seems like Chicago is doing well at covering. What about you, Boogie? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, well, we should call this the Wizard of Oz Bowl because it's Lions and Tigers and Bears.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Thank you. I think I'll also take Detroit to win and Chicago to cover. These are just both teams that are just scrapping it out in the NFC North basement. I don't expect to see very much from either of them.
Detroit
With
needs to
Detroit,
win, but I don't know.
they do. I mean, I don't think they have a realistic shot at the NFC at this point. But you have to also just not embarrass yourself against the Chicago team. But it remains to be seen if the Detroit Lions defense can stop embarrassing themselves and stop giving away these games. So,
Yeah,
um,
another team that's going to embarrass the shit out of themselves and give away yet another game is going to be the Denver Broncos, who are at the Kansas City Chiefs. Wow, we really need the Broncos to win one, but firing their head coach is not a good start to the work week. Fuck. Kansas City -12.5. I mean, yeah, give me Kansas City. Denver might fuck around and get rolled here. I really hope it's closer because it was closer last time. I think it was like 34-27 or something. Like, seemed like oddly close.
if Ripien starts, it might be closer than we expect. But if it's Russ out there,
No, it's gonna be fucking Russell Wilson, dude. Yeah.
they're going to be in disarray after this coach firing. Patrick Mahomes might be approaching a 5,000-yard season yet again. He's at 47-20. He'll definitely get 5,000 this game, I do believe.
I hope so.
I mean,
God damn.
with nearly 100 receptions, he's got 1,257 yards. Isaiah Pacheco making a run at getting 1,000 yards for the season after becoming the starter in like week 6 or something. Like,
That's awesome. Good for him.
KC is fucking, at least in the counting stats, they're fucking rolling right now.
Yeah, man. And I mean, it's why Mahomes is probably favored to be the MVP. Not only the 5,000-yard season, which is very, very doable, but also just because Kansas City doesn't really have any weapons, ever since releasing Tyreek Hill, of course. Kelsey is number one, even though he's a tight end. But I mean, let's keep it real, man. He's doing a lot with not a lot. Defense isn't helping him, like you could say for Buffalo and Cincinnati. So it's impressive that Mahomes is doing this much. Good for Mahomes. That's probably the last time I'll praise him until after the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Next up, another terrible game. Miami at New England. We got Teddy Two Gloves going to the East Coast to face Mac Jones and the anemic New England Patriots. Like, God, this is fucking awful. Give me Miami to win. Miami should win. I feel like Teddy Two Gloves is going to win, but if this New England defense picks the ball off 3 times, they'll probably win. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a low-scoring affair, so I don't know.
It's going to be tough.
I'll just take Miami, man, because they're playing for something. New England's not.
Yeah. Well, I'll take New England for a spoiler. I mean, I don't think, Teddy is going to be able to shake off the rust in time to be able to do much of anything for Miami. And, as long as Ramondre Stevenson doesn't give up another duck at the end of the game, New England should be able to hang around until the finish.
Yeah, another team that's going to hang around unnecessarily is going to be the Indianapolis Colts, who are going to be at the New York Giants. The Giants are favored -5.5. Don't see it happening. It's going to be very cold. Both of these teams are really playing just okay. I'm going to take the Giants to win. I'm going to take Indianapolis to cover. Just after that very embarrassing performance on Monday Night Football, they need something to feel good about going into the end of the year. So give me the Giants to win. Give me Indy to cover.
I'm taking a look at the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts because what are they going to do?
It's probably going to be Nick Foles, yeah.
I guess there's not a lot of news about it. They've switched around so goddamn much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess he is going to continue to be the starting quarterback. I think I'm going to take. I'm sorry, you said you were going to take the New England Giants. Wow, I bet they wouldn't like that. The New York Giants to win, but Indianapolis to cover. If Nick plays again, I'm going to take the Giants to cover. I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown.
I hope so. They need to
Nick
going into the
playoffs out there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, he looked terrible.
Yeah, so bad.
But I mean, it might fuck around and be like a 17-14 kind of game.
Mm-hmm. Really.
It's just what I'm feeling.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next, we got the no-fi zone. Of course, New Orleans at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles by -5.5. I think that Hurts is trending towards playing this weekend.
He's currently doubtful.
Sirianni said he looked great in practice. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're playing mind games. Look, even with a Gardner Minshew-led team, give me Philadelphia, who scored 34 on a stout Dallas defense.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take them across the board.
As will I.
We'll see. We'll see.
I have nothing to add there. Whether Hurts or Minshew, the Eagles are just rolling right now. I just don't think the Saints got it. Even with Alvin Kamara's heroics last week.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Talking about heroics, we're going to need to see some from Tom Brady, who is hosting the Carolina Panthers. I'm taking Carolina.
All right, perfect. As am I. I don't think Tampa Bay's as strong as they would like to think they are. Carolina's out there scrapping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you said, Carolina wants it more.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay just looks like shit. Other teams that look like shit, we got the Cleveland Browns at the Washington Commanders. Washington favored -2. This is definitely a pick'em game with Washington being at home. Carson Wentz is going to be the starting quarterback. They decided to get away from what's his face exactly, Heineke. So give me
Wentz is not going to be any better, and he might be worse.
Oh God, dude. I don't know. Give me Cleveland, I guess. I don't even know how to pick this game. It's just fucking awful.
Yeah.
Got a lot
Yeah,
of
week
just
17.
really
Yeah.
terrible games this weekend.
They're just kind of filling in the cracks here, it
I
seems
mean,
like.
let's keep it real. That's kind of how it feels at the end of every year. Another one,
Mhm.
just really you just lost your quarterback bowl. We got San Francisco at Las Vegas. San Francisco is favored -9.5. Are we serious? Should be way more than that. Give me San Francisco across the board. Stidham's not.
He's nothing.
No.
He's nothing.
Speaking of a guy that's nothing, Zach Wilson, who may or may not be starting at the Seattle Seahawks. I really hope that Mike White starts so that they have any shot of just doing anything or being anybody. The Seahawks, who are just sliding as well. Two teams that are playing awful. Again, another pick'em game. They're just taking the Jets because they have the more explosive numbers on paper. Give me Seattle here.
I think I'll take Seattle as well. I know they've been on a bit of a losing streak, but um, I don't know, man. I I I can't imagine the Jets have figured out their offense at this point.
Mm-mm.
They're on a 4 game slide. I think this is the opportunity for the Seahawks to even up the series, and I don't know. Are they the ones who are in the 7 seed for the NFC? Who
I
knows?
don't know. I'm woefully unfamiliar with that. I'll tell you um, what doesn't make sense while you're looking that up is the Minnesota Vikings going to Green Bay and Green Bay being favored -3. Like, what? Like, are we fucking high here? Like, no. What? No. Give me Minnesota. Green Bay is going to finally lose. They have to win out. Minnesota looking terrible as well. Still
I
take it.
can't believe
Go ahead, brother.
I can't believe Washington is still in still in contention
Still the
for
7?
the still the 7, because they're 7-7-1 instead of 7-8 like these other teams. I'm sorry, you picked who again for
I'll take
this?
a Minnesota, man. I'll take Minnesota.
Minnesota. All right. Well, I think Minnesota is the fakest bitch in the league right now, so I'm gonna
Absolutely.
take Green
Take
Bay.
take Green Bay, man. I hope they prove me wrong, but if Justin Jefferson comes out and has fucking another day, like,
Uh huh.
this ain't gonna be a Kirk Cousins isn't gonna throw 3 interceptions. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And they barely won that game against Miami. Like, whatever, dude. Anywho, next up we got the team hosting the team that built the stadium. We got the Los Angeles Chargers hosting the Los Angeles Rams. I guess the battle for LA.
Uh huh.
The Chargers are favored -6.5. Give me that action all day. The Chargers are surging right
Bada bing.
now, and the Rams are really bad. Don't let that 51-point performance on Christmas cloud your judgment. Russell
No,
Wilson
no.
just threw 3 interceptions and just really let the Rams do whatever they wanted. So, yeah, wow, terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Oh my god, what? Oh my god. All right, so the rivalry that only they think is a rivalry, the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hmm.
Baltimore's favored -2.
Don't know why. I'm taking the Steelers on this one.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers too, man, for the upset here. Both because of team bias. I should probably use my head and take Baltimore because they just find a way to win these really terrible games.
Hmm.
But I'll take Pittsburgh, man. Whatever. Fuck it.
I mean, Tomlin wants this too. And Lamar's not playing. Tyler Huntley's playing. Tyler Huntley's uneven.
Hmm.
Pittsburgh still has the defense we think they do.
Yeah. I mean,
They have a chance to make it work.
yeah, Minka might fuck around and get a pick six. He's just putting in work, like really big work in that safety unit for Pittsburgh. I mean,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's defense has always been legendary.
Hmm.
And yeah, probably the biggest game of the year, hype wise. The best Monday Night Football game of the year.
Hmm.
And really just holding the heaviest implications for both teams. We have the Buffalo Bills at the Cincinnati Bengals. Buffalo being gifted 1.5 points. Or, I'm sorry, Cincinnati being gifted 1.5 points, which I think is the most asinine thing I've ever seen.
Yes, sir.
Cincinnati's on a 7-win streak. Buffalo's on a 6-win streak. Both of these teams are like red hot right now.
Yeah.
Going into the new year, um, this is a toss up for me. Like personally, like yes, team bias. I'm gonna take Cincinnati, but
Mm-hmm.
this is probably much like the Kansas City game. It's just like, damn, which team's gonna win? I think Cincinnati definitely got the edge. More accuracy. I think they need to get out to a fast start, just like they did against New England, and I think they need to not let off the gas. Maybe put up 40, to Buffalo's like 21. Um,
Yeah, this is scary hours for the Cincinnati Bengals. This feels like the culmination, at least before the playoffs, of the narrative that has been playing out over the last few weeks. Cincinnati's had to gut out some tough wins. It feels like it's preparing them for this moment where they're really going to have to fire the gun. They're going to have to fire all the bullets, all the clips. They're going to have to, they're going to have to empty their load all over the Buffalo Bills' face if they want to succeed in this game, and hopefully clinch the North and clinch a number one seed. Um, but I mean, it's scary hours.
yeah, man. I mean, we'll see if Josh Allen keeps playing the brand of football he's been playing in the first half
Yep.
this year. Cincinnati
Mm-hmm.
might fuck around and roll. If Cincinnati starts fumbling the bag in the second half like they've done the past couple games, well, no. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm lying. They put up 34 against Tampa Bay in the second half. Like, I don't know, man. It's I just don't think Buffalo is going to run the ball on the Cincinnati team. Like, that's just one thing
Yeah.
I can't see happening. With the exception of Josh Allen, who is their leading rusher, which is absolutely ridiculous to say about a Super Bowl contending team. I
Mm-hmm.
don't see them running the ball well against the Cincinnati defense, man. They're not going to be able to do it like they've been doing it against other teams. Cincinnati has proven they can stop that shit. Sam Hubbard's trending in the right direction. We could have both Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson. They do not have Von Miller, but Gregory Rousseau going up against our right tackle, who's yet to be named, but I believe will be Isaiah Prince.
I think they're looking at. I don't know. I think I
It's
saw
not
good Barry
Akeem
say it's good. It's
Adeniji.
not going to be Akeem Adeniji.
I mean, you could say that, but Joe Burrow said in the press conference we have a lot of confidence in Zay, and that's short for Isaiah in any culture I've been a part of. I've never heard anybody named Akeem go by Zay. Like
Let's see.
we'll see, man. I
I think
think
they're still
that yeah, it's there. There's no confirmation yet, but I mean Gregory Rousseau is going to have a day against our right tackle, so that's going to be interesting. Of course, with Lyle Collins being out, we lost a lot in the run game. Not really in the pass game though. I mean, he wasn't really moving the chains, and with his contract structured the way it is, the way that we are basically paying him like a bounty hunter. He only
Mhm.
gets paid for the games he plays, man. So whatever. If we're gonna move on from him, we can do that. I think
Yeah.
it was a good addition. Um, and again, in the run game, like you get him going downhill, no one's stopping Lyle Collins. That guy's a fucking huge. But diving at the feet on every, pass blocking attempt, like it's gonna get you hurt, man. And it's just not solid football. And he's been playing through injuries already. Akeem
Mhm.
Adeniji was a lot more athletic out there, and that's his natural position, is right tackle. So,
Mm.
instead of playing like left guard or right guard or whatever he played last year in our Super Bowl run, by the way, let's stop
Uh-huh.
forgetting that, media, when you're looking at this fucking spread making no sense. Like, whatever, dude. Anyway, let's let the league keep hating on the Bengals. They said the Chiefs were going to roll us, and we ended up, handling them soundly. I think Cincinnati, they always play biggest against the biggest opponents.
True.
Joe Burrow knows it. Now it's going to be an issue of all eyes on me, How's that going to work? Because it's not just an afternoon game where it can get kind of lost in the sauce. Like, everybody's going to be watching this game, man. This may fuck around and be
Yep.
the most viewed game this season.
This might be the
Um,
sold out game of the season too, and the jungle's going to be rocking.
Oh, dude, man, I wish we could go, Tyler. God, I really wanted to go to this game, but financial restrictions did not allow me this, and then in a couple weeks going to the playoffs. That's just
Right.
that's poor money management, man. And at 31 years old, I need to be making better financial decisions, so I'm choosing to do that. Yeah, man. Anywho, great game. We got a couple of really cool games this weekend, and by a couple I mean 2.
This really does feel like shovelware. Yeah.
Yeah, like really, we've got
stuff.
Jacksonville at Houston, which has a lot of implications. Oh, okay, I guess Carolina at Tampa Bay, even though it's going to be boring to watch, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Minnesota at Green Bay. I mean, people are going to care just because people dick ride the Green Bay Packers, but it's really not that big of a deal.
This is really just an amuse-bouche for the for Week 18, if there's any doubt left.
Yes, exactly.
In the playoff picture.
Exactly. A really set them up and knock them down weekend of football. See what happens, man. I think Cincinnati gets the 2 seed this weekend. That'll be my prop. Since Cincinnati secures the 2 seed in the AFC, we need Kansas City to lose, but they're facing Denver and then Las Vegas. Like, give me a break. I don't see that happening, so they can go ahead and have, the Kansas City, the AFC Invitational game again. And we'll take the 2 seed, man. Oh, that'd be awesome.
This is just, again, I sometimes I feel like Jermaine Pratt is the league leader in this very specific stat, a game-sealing interception. That would be quite a way to end this Monday Night Football game with a goal line stand, and Jermaine getting yet again getting the ball in his paws to end this game. The jungle would be fucking rocking.
If Josh Allen, if we make him uncomfortable, man, you could see a lot of interceptions. He's been throwing them, right? Like, everybody still thinks Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Joe Burrow, which is...
I still don't think Josh Allen's elbow is right.
What? No, I don't think so either, man. Like a ligament, and you continue to do a lot of like high activity shit. Like, no, it's not like a muscle, where it's like, it's sore, I'll work it through. That's a ligament, like those don't work the same way. Yeah, shit, man. I mean, I think I've really just like beaten this dead horse, brother. I really got nothing else to say about this slate. You got anything you want to say, man, for the end of this 2022?
Oh, I just want to tell all of you viewers out there, have a happy new year. Be safe out there. Make sure you have your designated driver. I'm the designated driver tonight. Be proud to be the designated driver and take care of your friends.
Yeah.
And just like me, lose weight if you big.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And just like me, stop being so comfortable in your relationship, I guess.
Stop.
I don't know. That's stupid to say. You should always be comfortable in your relationship. But, man, you nailed it on the head, Boogie. Be safe out there. Happy New Year, man. And moving forward in 2023, we're just going to be doing Saturday shows. We'll see about next season. But just given each of our intense schedules coming up here over the next month, we're probably just going to be knocking out, another mega Saturday show, and then it'll pare down easily into our playoff programming. It should take about like a half an hour or so. That being said, man, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us in 2022.
Comment down what we should do moving forward. Or we're still, conferencing about that, still figuring out what we want to do for the off season. See if we want a different kind of show, or if we just want to, talk about shit every week. But let us know what you would see.
Absolutely, man. I completely agree. Go ahead and let us know down there in the comments. I've got some ideas Tyler and I will discuss off camera, but yeah, man, really excited for all the big stuff we got coming in 2023. It's going to be a big year for us. I can feel it. Right. We're gaining a lot of small traction that I think will compound into more. And I can't thank you enough for sticking around and viewing it, man. I love you. I'm sure Tyler loves you. We love you. So thank you, man. Thank you for supporting us and allowing us to just do this every day or, every week. It's cool, man. It's really cool. Yeah. But you already know the deal, guys. From one too dope bro to another. Enjoy the rest of 2022, man. Be safe out there. We'll catch y'all next year. Peace.